What's up?
Hey, greetings.
How are you, my brother?
Good and yourself?
I'm good. There you are.
Yeah,
What's
finally.
happening, Jesus Priest?
Hang on. I'm
Yeah, I
having
hear
trouble.
Greg. I hear Greg.
finally,
I hear
finally we
Josh.
did it.
Why is it?
Finally we got it right.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Just wait for the others. Greetings, there's Josh. We've got Garrett.
Yes, sir.
There he is. There's my
I'm,
buddy.
Greg coming.
I'm trying to.
So bring on oblivion. Sell me your soul. Great man, dig me a hole. Crazy man.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we
Yeah.
go. Are we complete?
I believe so.
Awesome.
We see you, Greg.
You there?
Here we go. Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hi, Josh.
We can hear you.
All right.
Cool, man. Excellent. Everybody's together. Good stuff. Guys, I'm gonna
Okay.
kick off.
Just to put it out there, we're talking about Die Humane.
Yes.
Okay,
Definitely.
I mean, we could talk a little bit about Exodus, but we're trying to promote a new album and all this other stuff. So
Obviously.
thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Guys, thanks for making the time. First of all, it's awesome to get you guys all together. I think it's great. Initially, I had a plan with Rick, but I mean, the fact that this all snowballed now is awesome. We can get input from everybody in the band, and I've heard 2 tracks so far, blown away, really amazing stuff. I'd love to hear from you guys a little bit later on. I'm just gonna get all the history aside right at the beginning. Rick, how does it feel to be active again in the music scene? You've had a long hiatus. You've been out. How does it feel?
Oh, it's unbelievable. I've been out like probably feels like a lifetime, but I always said like once my kids were grown, I was gonna try to come back, and I got a call from these guys, and I couldn't be happier, man. These guys, they're awesome. Music is wonderful. Uber talent in this band.
Yeah, we can hear that. Yes, definitely. No, great stuff. It's so awesome. I mean, when I first saw signals of you sort of reappearing in the media, so to speak,
Yeah,
I think you there was a visual of you doing a show with Gary and them, but longer ago. I don't know when that was. My immediate thought was, okay, well, probably in an incarnation of Exodus, or are you going to do an own thrash thing? All the more surprised I was hearing Die Humane and going, wow, this is not.
That's exactly why I joined Die Humane.
Yeah.
That exact reason right there. That's exactly why. I'm just, I've been playing thrash for so many years, bro. Just it's so cool to be able to do something different, Hey, not everybody's gonna like it. I get it. We get it. But we love it. So that's basically what counts. Right, Josh?
Absolutely. I mean, I think the scene is so saturated with thrash clones and everybody sort of rehashing what was done in the Bay Area way back then. And who's going to really set new signals? And I don't think so.
Well, hey, put it on the record. I didn't say that.
No. That's my opinion on the whole thing.
Can I chime in on this one?
Yeah,
sure, go.
Okay. Because as far as what you said about there being a lot of thrash and stuff like that, personally, I think that's a good thing because that just means that the genre has expanded and gotten more popular over the years.
Yeah.
And as far as everybody in the band, we all love that stuff.
No,
thrash, death, black metal, all that. But, being in a band and creating a music project, especially some of this magnitude, it takes a lot of work and a lot of time. And I think all of us just kind of felt that it would be more worth that time to try to do something different that nobody else is really doing and just kind of carve our own path there.
100%.
For sure. And I think that's what I feel the scene really needs nowadays. We need new people that break new ground, that come in at a different angle, that do something different, and especially, I mean, look at a lot of the, not to denounce any new acts or anything. I mean, I'm just thinking, let's take thrash. Who are the new flag carriers, really? You know, I mean, there's a lot of really good material. I love the scene. I'm personally into every genre almost of under the heavy metal banner. But
I'd say
my feeling is often there's nothing really special or new or different, you know.
Yeah, there's a couple Bay Area bands that Hatred, Zetro's Sons bands. Have you heard of them, Ben?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're on tour with Dave Ellefson right now, the Kings of Thrash.
Yeah.
They're an amazing band, and I think that they're gonna carry the flag, you know. But they're, like you said, there's not too many. I'll tell you that much right now.
Yeah, and that sort of crosses over into many genres. I mean, you could take a death, black, and a lot of people are also thinking who's going to be the new, who's going to follow in the footsteps of the big maidens and the priests and all that kind of stuff. So, and that's why it's good to see bands like you coming out, bands like Gojira, Mastodon, really doing something different and really pushing the envelope, you know.
Yeah, love Gojira. Absolutely love
Gojira. Awesome.
They're scary. They're scary good.
Now, I'm just going to sort of, I know I personally, I'm a musician myself and I hate being compared, but I mean, I think it's unavoidable. And then when I first heard your two tracks, there's a couple of impulses that immediately hit me. And I thought, you know, the first was with Shell Shock. From the guitar department, I thought, wow, is this Tom G. Warrior coming in another incarnation? Wow. It's really just a deep, low churning, you know. That was kind of a thing that came up. Obviously typo, and just interesting hearing even a sax being involved, the vocals really soaring above it all. Amazing.
That's Garrett. Garrett's awesome.
Really.
Garrett, where you at? You in here?
I'm in here. Yeah.
There he is.
I'm going to let you guys talk a little bit. Interesting to hear how it all came about. How did the song sort of develop? Maybe you can
start that.
Yeah, go ahead, Josh, and then take it away, Gary.
So well, as far as how it started, like I've mentioned before, Die Humane kind of started as an accident. Basically, when 2020 hit, a lot of us were out of work.
Oh yeah.
I've spent the last 10 years working in the film industry, shooting music videos and movies and documentaries and stuff like that. And there was nothing to do, and it was one of those things to where I had always wanted to go to music and wanted to go back to music. I played in bands in my youth and stuff like that. And I started writing a few songs, and then eventually I went to Greg, who's been one of my best friends for almost 20 years, and kind of roped him into it. And we were just doing it for fun. There was no real like, oh, well, we're going to make a career out of this and all that shit. So
just basically just passing the time in the lockdown.
Yeah, and Greg and I have recorded music together for almost the entire time we've known each other, but we just kind of just made it and then never really showed it to anybody. But when we started writing the Die Humane songs, it came to the point where it's like, well, let's turn this into something. Let's let's contact some people, maybe get some of our friends to do guest spots, because through doing music videos, I have a lot of connections in the industry. And when it came time for, well, who's going to sing on it, Garrett West was literally the first person I thought of. Garrett played in a weird space rock proggy metal-esque band called the Nova Skyway, which, if anybody hasn't heard, I highly recommend checking out.
Oh, they're awesome.
And,
dude. I love
Awesome.
them.
We'll do. We'll do.
Old guitar player who was my backup singer. We kind of had like a Jerry Cantrell, Lane Staley thing going on. He kind of moved to lead vocals, and he's killing it now. They just released a new music video that's animated. It's out of this world. It's one of my favorite things that they've done. So yeah, I'm glad those
You
dudes.
check that out. Yes.
I had
No,
to,
they're super good. Nova Skyway is the name of the band.
Oh yeah, they're great.
Sure.
But once we roped Garrett in, I wound up sending a couple tracks to Steve Esquivel of Skin Lab, who Skin Lab's always been one of my favorite bands too, especially as far as groove metal goes. Like, those guys are criminally underrated. And Steve hit me back almost the next day, and he's like, dude, like, let me help out with this. And long story short, he eventually sent it to Rick, because he asked, he's like, well, I think I could get, Rick from Exodus involved in this. He'd probably really like it. And he's like,
Wow.
Rick's honestly one of the best blues guitar players on the planet, and nobody knows it. So, of course, we sent it to Rick, and we started a dialogue. I think it took Rick a couple weeks to actually listen to it. But then once he listened to it, he's like, okay, yeah, I'll play lead guitar on this. And
Heck yeah.
kind of left it at that. But one of my favorite moments, though, was we were always kind of wondering, like, is Rick just going to play leads on this, or is he actually going to join the band? And I remember one day Rick mentioned something about us going on tour. And we were like, hold on, so does that mean you're actually in the band now? And he's like, well, ain't nobody else going to play my shit.
For real, though.
That's how Rick got involved. Then eventually Sal Abrascato got involved, and he played all the drums on the album. And then it landed in Ulrich Wild's lap. Ulrich wanted to produce us. Then it got the attention of Des Fafora from Double Driver and Cold Chamber. And him and his wife, they run the Oracle Management. And in my opinion, two of the best managers on the planet.
Amazing.
They're very artist friendly, as well as they take care of business. So, and that's basically how I got started. Anybody else want to chime in?
Plus, they're letting us do what we want. You know what I mean? They're being totally cool. They're like, Des kind of just threw his arms up in the air and says, man, you guys just go ahead and do what you're going to do.
It's a creative license. Do. So you obviously then had demos that you played to Ulrich first. You had it all down in demo form. How did you record? Did you go into a studio? Was it all home recordings first?
Well, we decided, because Greg and I live in Galveston, Texas, so we decided that we wanted to record in the most sophisticated, state-of-the-art studio we could find. So we recorded it all in my kitchen.
Go. These things are just down to the equipment, So, yeah.
So, but yeah, once we had everything demoed, and we really we sent it all to Ulrich. Ulrich mixed it all down, and then Rick flew in to Los Angeles. And we all kind of met at Ulrich's studio. We recorded all the leads there, and then Ulrich just mixed it, mastered it, did his thing, and honestly, it turned out freaking beautiful. Yeah,
which is a really hard job on his part. It's not easy to mix this kind of music, man, because there's a lot.
No.
There's a lot of stuff going on with the distorted heavy guitar and everything to try to bring everything out like he did. He did a fantastic job.
I mean, especially with Oblivion, there's a lot of peaks and valleys, quiet, loud, dynamics. So yeah.
Oh, that's every song. That's every song.
It's not just all balls to the wall, So yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah, there's more of that coming for sure.
You got to leave room sometimes.
Yeah, Garrett is just a beast on the vocals. So let me tell you, kids.
That's what I really enjoyed about the material thus far. It's that there is so much dynamics, and that there is room, especially also for the vocals, and especially a lot of here I go on again. But a lot of the material that you get these days from acts, it's all chock-a-block full, all the way, full tilt, everything blasting, all guns blazing at you. And what I miss sometimes is the song dynamic and just the flow and ebb and tide, you know, and just push and pull. And, you know, no.
I think that's to our influences, man. We're all over the board as far as influences go. I mean, we have influences from jazz to blues to, you know, funk, R&B. You know, if it's making waves in some shape or form, we've probably listened to it and gotten some sort of influence from it.
Absolutely.
So how many tracks are we looking at for the release?
10 songs, but there's little segue tracks between some songs. So if you see more on the track list, that's why.
Okay.
Yeah, some of the songs are intros, outros. Like the first 3 tracks are basically one song. Yeah. There's the intro to it, and there's the actual song, and then there's the outro. So otherwise, all of our songs would be, you know, 10 to 15 minutes long.
But I'm still dumb, so dumb. So bring on oblivion. Rayman, say man, sell me your soul. Caveman, gray man, dig me a hole. Crazy man, Iron Man, I'm not the one you want.
Cool. No, and so do I take it? Are you? Is Des and his wife now forming the label, or are you still shopping, or as management, or how will it go?
We are currently signed to Worm Group as far as labels go. As far as what Des and Anastasia are doing, they're kind of, you know, working on their own thing over there. But, you know, Des is currently signed to Napalm with Devil Driver. So I don't think they have a full label yet, but I don't know if they're working on it or not. We couldn't say for sure. But
basically,
Worm Group.
Essentially, with Die Humane, it was kind of important that we come out and we establish ourselves basically independently. That way we have the freedom to do everything we want to do. That way we can do it on our own schedule, on our own terms and stuff like that. Because when it comes to a label, which we are open to in the future, it's very important that we prove our viability because we have in-house everything. We have in-house video, in-house production, in-house effects, in-house stage effects. And when we get signed to a label, when we actually, because, you know, we may do that on the next album, we don't know. But we want it to be known that we're viable and that we're worthy of somebody's time and investment. You know, we don't want any handouts.
Absolutely.
Like to me, it shouldn't be we start a band and then immediately jump into a major label just because we have, you know, Rick Hunolt or Sal Abrascato in the band or something like that. Like we should prove ourselves.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, have it the good old-fashioned way of growing it, you know, and
right, grassroots type thing. Right now, we're going to concentrate on doing some videos and then getting in a room and getting this stuff tight and playing some shows, man.
Next weekend.
Sounds like a good one. So, okay, first videos and then doing some shows and stuff, which would lead me then to my next question. It's probably too early to ask, is when anything lined up for Europe, anything, or is that too early yet?
It's a little early, but we'll just say that we're it's definitely in the plans and it's in the works for sure.
Absolutely.
We just have to take it step by step. You know what I mean? Everybody has, you know, Garrett's a freaking high school teacher. Everybody has things going on, and we live in different states, so it makes it kind of tough. Yes. But on the other hand, we all have a goal. You know what I mean? We all want to do the same thing, so it will happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, our goal with Die Humane, it's slow and steady like the turtle. We take it one step at a time, you know, because at the end of the day, if we don't get the music out there, you know, who the fuck's going to come see us play?
Yeah.
You know,
Right. That's what we're trying to do right now is just get the music heard by as many people as we can on our own. You know what I mean? To like Josh said, to prove our worth. You know, to make someone go, well, wow, we're gonna put some time and energy into this band because they're willing to put some time and energy into the band.
absolutely.
So, what I've seen thus far is the imagery. That sort of. I'm going to first ask you guys, what's behind the name? Is there?
Honestly, I'll jump in on that one. I don't think we really want to say. It could mean a number of things to somebody. We know what it means to us, but we'd rather just keep it more of an ambiguous, abstract kind of term. And truthfully, it can mean whatever the hell anybody wants it to.
That's basically right. We get a lot of questions about like the die, because you're German, you know, the die means the, right, in German.
Dimension. It could mean the humans.
Right. Could mean the humans. It could mean all. We're just going to leave it like to everybody's individual interpretation.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, we'll just go with that.
But the sort of the sort of feel and obviously from the titles, you have an album that's going to be titled Grotesque, right?
Yes.
Garrett came up with that.
I did.
So you so I take it the content deals with dark themes.
Yeah. So lyrically, we're you know, when Josh brought me this material, I basically asked him, you know, what were you feeling at this time? Because you know, I've got my degree in poetry. I'm a giant fan of lyricists and people who, you know, I like to go and look at all sorts of different things literature wise. You know, Baudelaire is one of my favorite poets, and that was death metal way before death metal ever existed. So he came to me and was asking me to do vocals on it. And so when it came time to write lyrics, I asked him, you know, because I had my own to write, but I wanted to make sure that I was capturing what he was coming from. So I always try to put myself in someone else's shoes when I write lyrics. Most of the time it's going to come from my point of view, but in this case, since he kind of had a direction he wanted to go with it, I wanted to make sure that I was capturing that. And then, you know, going forward, who knows how we'll write, but usually that's what I try to do. Try to put myself in someone else's shoes.
The next album, all the songs will be happy, and we'll write songs about helping old ladies across the street. And
Yeah.
So you basically this is anger management, and then you're gonna then you're gonna go more woke or
yeah. Our next album is going to be a concept album about Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Yeah, I play
Neighbor.
amazing. No, that's interesting to hear. So what is the next step? You've now got 2 singles out. Are we going to hear some more, or basically, are you going to tease with another single, or are we going to get a release date?
Should we tell them when the next one is?
We already have a release date announced. The release date for the
release date is May 5th. That's
No,
the
it's
full
10th.
LP.
May
But,
10th. Oh, wait. I'm sorry.
I'll say it's May 5th, isn't it?
It is May 5th. I was thinking about the next single. March 10th is the next single.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you guys still have now I know Garrett has another group. Josh, what are you still active with?
Well, musically, this is really all I'm working on. Well, I write. Garrett and I write songs for other people too. So we kind of got that. We got that going on the side in the background. Can't really discuss who, but as well, I shoot music videos and stuff like that. Like we're actually next week or next weekend, the guys are flying in, and we're shooting 3 music videos. Me and Greg have already started shooting some of them on our own. So yeah, we're about to shoot a few music videos. Greg and I also run a business. We run a haunted ghost tour business that spans across the country, so we're always busy with that. I mean, we've all kind of just got a million things going on at all times. I think there's a bunch of workaholics in this band.
Yep.
That's the way to get things done, and DIY is key.
Yeah, it is, and you just got to keep busy, man. Jeez, boredom is crazy.
That it is.
Yeah, those 2 years were scary, I must say. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really scary.
In the very beginning.
What's that, Garrett?
So especially when you have a kid right in the very beginning of it.
Oh man,
I can imagine.
I had my first child in 2020.
and she's adorable. She's such a cutie.
She's awesome.
She is awesome.
But then handling all that in the isolation, and that must have been trying.
Yeah, my wife had to work from home. Luckily, we managed, but it was rough.
But it's interesting to see what the pandemic has sort of spiraled. It's really boosted in terms of just from a business point of view. I do graphics, so it's sort of catapulted my activity very much into online and working remote and over distance. I guess what a lot of musicians have already been doing before that, but I think it's just amplified it now, really.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Good for you, bud.
For a lot of musicians, it's that I know, a lot of it has shifted way more as previously into the online thing.
Yeah, for sure.
And as horrible as the pandemic was, one of the only upsides is a lot of really, really good art came from it, whether it be in the world of film or graphic design or music. I mean, the pandemic finally gave us another Metallica album, you know?
Yes, correct. Yeah, but probably because a lot of people finally had the chance to sort of gear down a little bit and just take the time, and you had time. And I think it had a positive aspect on families, on just getting out of the sort of race for a bit and focusing on things that you're passionate about. And yeah, I can definitely hear that.
Absolutely, and that's one thing that's fascinating about how artists work is sometimes even the worst of situations becomes an inspiration to create. You know.
So how do you guys currently view the scene as a whole? Is it? Yeah, I guess that's the question.
Garrett, you said something?
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of really good unheard bands out there. I think that there's a lot of industry people focus on the ones that have been around forever. But like we were talking about earlier, the pandemic has birthed a lot of really good art. There's a lot of bands that took some chances during the pandemic that, haven't necessarily gotten a chance to be heard. I'm constantly on the lookout for new music. I love, hearing new artists, finding new music, no matter what genre it is, if it's something interesting.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, these like independent labels or any label for that matter won't even look at a band unless they got 100,000 followers. You know what I mean? It's just from my perspective, since back when I was active with Exodus, oh my goodness, man, the game has changed so much, like to the point where I was just like, holy cow, do I even want to do this anymore? It's like the social media has just come in and just taken over.
What I like about the current state of music is kind of like how you had mentioned earlier. There's so many bands and there's so much going on, but at the same time, so much of it has shifted back to the artists, to where you do have a lot of bands coming out and a lot of bands being experimental and coming up with their own sounds. One band I'd really like to put out there is a band they're from Greece, I believe, called Villagers of Ioannina City. And it's a band I actually discovered during the pandemic, and they are fucking amazing. They mix, it's almost like Tool mixed with Alice in Chains, mixed with like Stoner Doom, but they use a lot of traditional Greek instruments
That's
in
all.
their music and into their live shows. And
Yeah, I gotta check
and
that out.
overseas they're huge, but in the U.S. they're criminally underrated. But there's a lot of
Yeah.
bands like that just kind of come out and just do their own things and stuff like that. And nowadays there's actually a chance of being heard because it is good to have a record label. Like record labels aren't a bad thing, but they're not necessary. Like if you just play your cards right and you take care of business and you really put some thought and have a roadmap into what you're doing. I mean, a band without a label can easily reach 1 million people. It happens more often than somebody would assume.
Yeah, it's just interesting to watch. Something we've had here, and I'm just going to focus on Germany now, is reason being is I was involved with a venue that I've been asked to sort of curate metal bands because they wanted to refocus on it. They drifted off into goth, dance, goa, that kind of stuff, and more dance parties really. And then they said they wanted to get active again with live bands. So, and I quickly noticed that the bands I was trying to get obviously then put forth their proposals and what they would charge and all that. And quickly, I saw myself hitting a stone wall with the owners who said, well, we're not going to pay that. Like, can you half that and divide by 4 and then maybe we're talking. And I quickly realized, and I said, hold on, but I mean, everything's gone up. I mean, transport.
Yeah.
That band has got to get a van or a bus somehow to get to the venue. I'm just talking, if you're not sort of grasping the band from the actual tour schedule, but you actually, a good example was Coroner from Switzerland. They would just get in a van and come to Germany, play shows, and maybe try get 2 or 3 other shows.
Yeah.
And quickly I realized it's just, you're not going to make ends meet. They have to live, they have to pay, they have to overnight and all that stuff. And basically to get to the point is over here, it's a lot of clubs are complaining. A lot of acts have canceled their shows over here. Anthrax is one of them, and citing costing factors where they just said, Europe, not this year. So
the price of gas alone in Europe is insane, bro.
it's crazy. Yeah.
Look, if you get in a bus, listen, I was talking to my friend yesterday about this. Blind Illusion, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So they're getting pretty big in Europe. They've got a good following, but and they're going to be doing some festivals in the summertime. But so when I was touring there, we were always in a bus. I was fortunate enough to never have to be in a van in Europe. But nowadays, to get a bus, literally just the bus, gas, and a driver alone is like $8,000 a week. You know what I mean? And that's a low ball.
Yes.
So it's just insane. It's
crazy.
It's not worth it. It's crazy.
And a lot of clubs are not getting the pre-bookings that they need, so shows are getting cancelled. A lot of people then say, well, nobody's got money at the moment here. A lot of them cite the Ukraine crisis as a reason why everybody's a bit more tight-fisted.
Yeah.
And but then again, you see Rammstein booked out, bang. Wacken booked out, bang. Iron Maiden booked out, bang. So I don't think it's a matter of money. It's just
it really is, and it's weird seeing how everything's going on post-pandemic because I don't think there's ever been a time in history where so many bands are touring at the same exact time, but then juxtaposed with the inflation that comes with it, a lot of people are offsetting that onto the artist, which is funny to me because if there's anybody out there that wants to know what it's actually like to work into the music industry now, a good analogy I can throw out there is it's a bunch of people who live in mansions telling you that there's no money in this.
Yes.
It's fucking weird. But again, it's all about just being smart about it. That's one of the things we've been talking about because, of course, we want to tour and we definitely want to go to Europe. But the more you look into it, is it smarter to just do one-off shows here and there, or should we actually get on the road and be on the road for a freaking month or two? And we're just trying to take it the smartest way because I think
probably right now it'd probably just hit it 2 weeks at a time. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in the cards right now that we're examining, and that's why we're fortunate to also have a manager like Des Fafara and Anastasia Fafara, because they get the artist side of it and then they get the business side as well.
Right.
So they're really good at finding like that perfect marriage between the two, to where while we're sitting there coming up with 800 ideas, like, oh, well, we could do it this way, we could do it that way. They're the ones that pop in. It's like, well, let me tell you how you should do it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
That's
Right.
great if you have that kind of support behind you. Guys, Zoom is going to sort of castrate me now in a few minutes. So I'm going to have to sign off. It was great talking to you guys. I'd love to include a few links in the descriptor once I've got the video ready. Maybe, Rick, we can just exchange what you would like underneath, how fans can reach you guys, important links, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, why don't you, Josh, what's the, you mean to like our website?
No. Once I post the video underneath, I want to include all the necessary important links for you guys.
Okay, all right, well, it'd be,
But we can suss that by writing.
okay, no sweat. Thank you for your time, brother. We really
Guys,
appreciate it.
thank you for your time and best of luck. I love the material. I can't wait to hear more. And I really, really, really hope you guys kick some serious ass out there.
thank you so much. We'll be in Europe at some point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll be having my eyes peeled.
Thank you, brother.
Guys, go well. Have a good one.
All
Hey,
right,
thanks a
you too,
lot,
brother.
man.